Hello students, welcome back to our class. 8th class Social Studies, Reading and Analyzing of Maps. In the last class we were discussing about the Ptolemy. As I told you, Ptolemy is the geographist from Europe who make maps based on the religion. He believed that as Jesus Christ was born in Asian continent, that is in Jerusalem, so he believed that Asia is the center of the world and Europe and Libra, that is Africa. But he doesn't give the importance for the Arabian countries, Arabic countries. What was the reason that he has not given more importance in the map for the Arabic countries? So that the reason behind this was Arabic countries used to collect a lot of taxes from the European countries when they are passing through this Meridian Sea through the Arabian countries. There were a lot of issues between the Arabians and the Europeans. This lead to one of the conflict that Ptolemy doesn't give more importance in his map about the Arab. So then what happened? During the 15th century, Ptolemy inspired non-Arabic world. So here there was an ego clash now where Arabians also decided to make a map of their own. What happened? One of the famous geographist, or can say Arab sailor and a sailor to prepare maps. He was a sailor. Mostly he was specially appointed to make the maps by the Arabians. One famous Arab map made Al-Idris. This is the map you can observe here, Al-Idris. But here we can observe he mentioned south at the top and north at the bottom. So in this map also there is no clear idea about the entire world. Here also he made Arab as the center, as the continent, and the other continents surrounding it. So as I told you, when a country is making its own map, it highlights its own country and then includes other continents surrounded by it and the oceans. So Al-Idris map is also very useful to giving the information for the other map makers, and we can observe Al-Idris, he used the latitudes and longitudes in his map where they also followed Ptolemy and other geographers and map makers. They used to collect the information and the symbols used by them, the colors used by them, everything was shared by the all countries like Greek, Rome and European countries, other European countries. Now Arab also joined this journey of map making. So Al-Idri was the Arabian who made the map according to his sail and observation. Now coming to Arab has blocked. As I told you, there was a clash between European countries, sailors, and the Arab countries. So Arab had blocked the trade route to India. Now here you can observe if before there was business between India and Europeans. The Europeans used to use the Iran, Saudi Arabian countries to travel to India. So it was, we can say, it was the land route for them, for Europeans to come to India. But now when the Arabians, you can see here, Arabians have blocked the way for the Europeans. Now they cannot go through the land. Then they have to do business with India. Then one of the Portuguese trader, that is Vasco da Gama, he made a route around the Africa and reach India. He was the first European to reach India by the sea route around the Africa named as the Cape of Good Will. So now what happened? Columbus also want to reach India, but he traveled in the east direction. So Columbus went westwards. That means he want to come to India from the west direction. He thought that if he will go like this, he will come from the west side of India. But actually what happened? Columbus made a travel like this. Columbus traveled like this and reached West Indies. He thought that he reached India. Actually, no one have cooperated with Columbus to go for this voyage to reach India because the people believed that the earth was like a disc and they may fall into the voyage. So, Columbus went with the 200 people, but he reached America. That means actually Columbus also doesn't know that he reached America. After his death, people came to know that he reached to a new island. He discovered a new land, that is North America. He thought that he reached India, but the place he reached was West Indies. So that is why the name is given West Indies. So now these two people who made a voyage around the world, they proved that the earth was not a flat disc but a sphere like a ball. We can observe here these research made by Columbus. Further, the people started traveling and reached India. So due to this research, they came to know that if we go in any direction, we'll come back to the same place because the world is spherical in shape. So now, in the 15th century, after the 15th century, after the discovery of Columbus and Vasco da Gama, they came to know that the earth is spherical in shape. Now this was again a new challenge for the map makers, that they have to prove that earth is round, then how this round shape can be given for the maps. Now a round shape cannot be drawn on a flat paper. Then here starts again researches on the map regarding many map makers. Many map makers. You can see here. Yes, in the 15th century, that is the father of Dutch cartography was Jadus Mercator. Jadus Mercator's from the 1512 to century to 1594 common era, who examined the previous work and did about a more original work on map. Now, Mercator map projection is famously known as Mercator projection. Most of the world maps we use are based on this projection. So, what is the projection in map? So now, who made this, who is known as father of Dutch cartography, he was Gerardus Mercator. What he did, he made the projection in a map. Projection in a map, which is also known as a Mercator projection. So what is the projection he did? Actually, sailors need a correct direction and a shape so that they could identify the landmark. Mercator devised a method for showing the correct shape and direction of continents, but was he made a very big globe, that it was very big size. But anyhow, Mercator's projection is considered to be the very very good observation where it helped. Now also we are using the globe. It is also one of the part of Mercator's projection. So in the last class we were discussing about how the maps were discovered. Let us see in the video how it continued. So let us continue the video again.
In 1154 AD, and it was known as the Tabula Rogeriana, a name which comes from King Roger II of Sicily, since Al-Idrisi lived in Palermo and worked in service of the king. He based it on reports of Arab merchants who had traveled across the world, and that justifies the accurateness of the Middle East, and perhaps a more correct representation of the Far East, while suffering in its representation of Europe, especially the ridiculousness of perspective of the Adriatic Sea between Italy and Greece, with the Greek islands also being very poorly drawn in both detail and size accuracy. Plus, the variations on the North African coast look way too exaggerated as well. Again, the issue with a lot of these maps seem to be the fact that perhaps unconsciously they used different scales within the same map. Despite this, it was at the time the most accurate and extensive map of the world. On the other side of the world, we have this map of East Asia. The Kangnido World Map was created by Korean officials in 1402 AD. It focuses on Korea and is way more accurate in it than anywhere else, although showing it disproportionately big in comparison to China. Moving on from the fact that it ignores Japan's existence entirely, its depiction of China is somewhat lacking. Although it presents a very rough representation of its coastline, it does show a surprisingly detailed listing of China's rivers. It's said that the map was created by the Joseon dynasty, combining Chinese maps with information about the Western world gathered from the Mongolians. On its west portion, it also depicts something kind of weird, ignoring the existence of Indochina and presenting either Burma or India in a strange shape full of lakes and islands. Now, let's move on in time a little to the very early stages of European colonialism. This map is a projection of the Erdapfel globe, the oldest surviving globe in history, which was created by Martin Behaim in Germany in the year of 1492. It shows the world as a sphere, but with the undiscovered America as an empty ocean. This is interesting because it coincides with the idea that when Columbus discovered America, he was actually trying to find another sea route to India, not knowing that there was an entire continent in the way, which some people say is the reason why Native Americans were also known as Indians. But of course, I'm not sure if this is true. An interesting detail, which you actually notice in a lot of other maps, is that the Red Sea is actually displayed in red, as if the color of the water was actually red. The New World, or the Americas, stopped being in existence soon after. This map from 1507, made by Martin Waldseemüller, it's known as America's Birth Certificate, since it is the first map to recognize the Pacific Ocean and the separate continent of America, which Waldseemüller names in honor of Amerigo Vespucci, who identified the Americas as a distinct landmass. A fun fact is that at the top on the left is a drawing of Ptolemy, whose map we saw earlier. It doesn't show much, only a little part of the eastern coast of the continent and a rough depiction of the Caribbean islands. However, if we turn our eyes elsewhere, we notice Africa, which is much more accurately shown with an impressive drawing of its coastline. There are, however, some weird islands in the South Indian Ocean which I have no idea what they're supposed to be. Now, if there is a single year we need to look at on this list of old maps, it's 1569, because this is the year when Gerardus Mercator made his world map. This was the first world map that was adapted for navigation. He wanted to present contemporary knowledge of the geography of the world and at the same time correct the chart to be more useful to sailors, the straight lines which we see on this map. While the map's geography has always been updated with modern knowledge, its projection proved to be one of the most significant advances in the history of cartography and remains in use in the majority of maps that we use up to this very day. About 100 years later, in 1689, Gerard van Schagen drew this map. At this point, most of the large portions of the world had been discovered and mapped out. Pretty much all the Americas are depicted except a small part of Canada. Australia is already present despite being a bit disproportionately big. And the only thing that's missing is Antarctica, given that it shows the North Pole here, but a blank space in the South Pole. Oh, and there's also no New Zealand, or maybe this island is supposed to be it. And then we have Samuel Dunn's map. A very similar map to the previous one, but more updated and accurate. It's from 1794, already depicting New Zealand for sure. This seems to be the first, or one of the first maps to depict the entire world with a pretty good level of accurateness. Obviously, a few details may be off, but for the 1700s, it's a pretty good world map. We have to keep in mind that these maps, despite being obviously wrong in a lot of things, are really impressive. The fact that ancient geographers and cartographers were able to get anything right is already a feat of its own. However, there are a few maps that are just too insane for us not to find funny, like this map, which presents California as an island. It was made by a Frenchman called Nicolas Sanson, a royal geographer in 1656. It's incredibly detailed on the rest of North America, especially the southeast, but the west coast, not so much. However, this was apparently not his fault. It seems that it was a long-held Spanish misconception that the California Peninsula was not part of North America, but rather a large island separated by a strait known as the Gulf of California. The legend was initially that California was a paradise, like the Garden of Eden or Atlantis, making this one of the most famous map errors in history. And those were a few old maps that show us how little we knew about the world. It's also amazing to see how century by century, one by one, the cartographers came up with incredible mathematical and astronomical ways to map our planet, always improving the accuracy and usefulness, leading all the way up to today when we have literal cameras in space providing us with the exact representation of our world. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you know any other...
So this is how the cartographers and geographers, they have contributed their service to the making of maps. After the Columbus discovery of America, the geographers were so slowly they included North America and South America also in their map. So this is how the history of maps complete. It takes at least up to 17th century to 18th century we get the complete picture of the entire world. So now we have satellites, we have all the technological terms which gives us a lot of help to find out the accurate picture of the world. So let us continue this in the next class and compare the maps in the history with that of the present map. Hope you have understood. See you in the next class. Thank you.